Hello Capricorn. Great to have you here. My name is Shauna. Today's reading is a general love forecast for November 2025. As always, take the messages that resonate and release anything that doesn't. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay connected with upcoming readings. Let's see what's headed your way, Capricorn. You have to do your sign first. I feel like messages come out a lot more succinctly and a lot clearer, so it's easier for me to read. And I know that, for the past couple of months, your readings have been a lot shorter than other signs, and I apologize for that, okay? But whatever messages that comes through, what I see is what I read, okay? First of all, let me just relay this message that I saw. So what I saw was like it looks almost like a Game Boy, the portable gaming, I guess like machine that, kids hold and then they play. So I'm looking at the screen and everything is very pixelated. It looks like Tetris. But I looked at it closer and it looks like the game of Snake. Okay, so for those who might not be familiar, so the game of Snake is you start out with a snake on the screen and it can move up, down, left and right. So it's a very, minimalistic type of a game. And what you do is, I believe there are fruits or something, and you have to eat the fruits, and as you eat, you get longer and longer and longer. And you have to be strategic about how you move on top of the screen because space is limited, right? But as your body gets longer and longer, if you accidentally run into your body, then the game ends, right? And so what I saw is the snake getting longer and longer the more that it consumes. And so space on the screen is very limited and it seems like it's running out. And so you have to maneuver your way around this situation to get exactly what you want. And at the same time, being very, very careful about everything that is in your surrounding and the limited space that you're operating in. And making sure that you're not getting in your own way. Okay, so I feel like every move is calculated. Every inch that you take, everything is like premeditated. Everything is like carefully thought out and meticulously planned of a blueprint. And you're really sitting down, setting pen to paper and writing down in time. These are all the things that I need to, get ready for the next month. So I feel like for many of you, this is the energy I'm picking up. I feel like it's to, have everything meticulously laid out for something major. So I feel for many of you, you might be planning some type of a big trip, okay? And you're getting your IDs or getting your passports in order and trying to make sure that the passports are sent out ahead of time. That way you can book your tickets, and that way for sure you will get your passport in time for this upcoming trip. And then for others of you, this has to do with some type of HR, human resources, documents or something that you have to submit in a timely manner. So for example, if you get like a specific, like a salary increase, or if you're getting like a promotion, or if you're in line for a promotion, you're filling out some paperwork just so that on the date that you're supposed to start the new thing, the new project, the new job, the new grade level, or the new salary level, you want to just, smoothly transition in rather than having to deal with all the unexpected like side effects, okay? Like turning in paperwork late and then having to deal with delays and things like that. So I feel like the month itself, it seems like there's a lot of mental energy. There's a lot of things that needs to be done that's calling your attention. And if anything, I feel like many of you have learned so much from, the past like 2.5 years, where Saturn, the taskmaster, was transiting your sign. Saturn taught you a lot about not procrastinating, not leaving things to chance, not letting things kind of slide until the very last moment. Not I want to say, like, take care of responsibilities as it creeps up. And then Saturn is also teaching you a lot, have taught you a lot about, planning for long term, planning further down the line, being a few steps ahead of the game, and staying a few steps ahead of the game so that nothing is really catching you unawares. Okay, so I feel like Saturn has really kind of like expanded or increased your field of vision, okay? Whereas before you were seeing things in this myopic way, okay? You're thinking like, oh, all the practical stuff. Where am I going to live? What am I going to eat? What car am I going to drive? Where am I going to work? I feel like everything was very narrowly focused, and it was very much about survival. And what Saturn is doing right now is it's kind of expanding your worldview a little bit and giving you this breadth of vision, being able to plan things out 5, 10 years further down the line, and being able to pretty much be in a good position where, rather than, I would say, like letting things happen to you, you're staying ahead of the curve and you're anticipating all the things that would happen so that you can preemptively, stay one, like plan for things and even be one step ahead of the game, okay? And so stereotypically, Saturn gives us, a lot more structure, a lot more discipline. But I feel that because Saturn is your innate ruler, you have always dealt with, the discipline and the structure. But I feel that you might have been very structured and disciplined with yourself, but you're not really operating in a way where you're using that framework of discipline and structure to make things around you better for you, or to make situations that come in, I guess, like more beneficial to you. So what I mean by that is, let's just say, okay, for many of you, you might have, routines and habits, okay? Waking up at 6, going to the gym at 7, going to work at 8, and then getting home and then, cooking something to eat. Or maybe for some of you, going back to the gym and then watching a little bit of TV and then taking a shower. And then, so like everything is very regimented. But I feel that the way that Saturn is operating for many of you guys is teaching you to kind of like take that framework, that discipline, that regimented lifestyle, and kind of like cast it out into the wider arena of your life. Having a workflow, having time, like checklists, having, time frames set for a certain amount, like certain projects that need to be done, and also setting your, like, kind of like creating some type of a game plan for yourself. So for example, 2 months I'm going to stay here, and then, a year from now, I'm going to be senior in a work situation. And then maybe 2 years from now, I would have learned enough skills as a senior so that I can, supervise other people. And then further down the line, like 3 years from now, after I've been in that supervisory position, I'm going to be in a really good place to, escalate up the upper management, like, getting into some type of a higher position. So what Saturn is really doing is it has laid the framework for you and the foundation for you. You've worked really hard at things. And I feel that it is time for you to expand things out a little bit and figuring out your course and charting your course so that you can, plan for the next 5, 10 years, okay? I'm sensing for many of you, within the past 5 years, it seemed to me as if life was more about survival, going through the motions, making enough money to pay the bills, to take care of the kids, to enroll them in school, buy them new clothes, every year, paying your electricity bill, it seemed almost as if It was like teetering on the brink of survival, okay? And because you guys have been very disciplined with yourself, you don't resort to like emotional spending. You don't resort to like wasting money, squandering your wealth, squandering your hard-earned cash. But everything seemed like it was just like, your salary met your expenses, and there was very little disposable income left over for you to really enjoy life. On your birthday time, I do see a huge uptake in your financial situation, in the amount of money that you're earning. I do sense for many of you, if you're working in a, like client base capacity, I see you really being able to manifest, okay? Being able to manifest a lot more financial resources. This is the Eight of Coins, and the Eight of Coins is working very diligently at your craft. This is kind of like the magician in the making. This is somebody who, makes a living with the things that they say, okay? I usually think of it as a card, like a salesman, but salesmanship, I feel like it has a negative or like a sleazy connotation. It's somebody who talks and makes a living by talking. But I feel like in this capacity, it's somebody who works really hard, who takes really good care of their clients. They make sure that, customer satisfaction is like their priority. And because of that, a lot of people trust them. A lot of people can give them a lot of responsibilities and know that at the end of the day, that you guys, Capricorns, will be able to handle yourself. For those of you who have like who are working underneath somebody, I do sense that they're entrusting you with a lot more responsibility. When they have to take a work trip, they leave you in charge. When they have to go on vacation, they leave everything in your control because they trust you, and they trust that you won't abuse your power, and they trust that you have the skills, the competencies to troubleshoot, and that the office, the work situation will not go up in flames if they're not there. So I do feel a tremendous amount of trust coming through from your superiors, coming through from the people around you, coming through from your environment, because you have shown yourself to be hardworking, to be diligent, to be really meticulous with the work that you do. And you put a lot of emphasis on like, getting a job done, but doing it also very well. Okay. So those are really positive things, okay? So I see that snake, it's getting longer and longer and longer. And what it means is that your reputation is really building. You've created a lot of, I want to say, like really good karma for yourself. You're also in a position where I do sense that a lot of people are entrusting you with bigger things, more responsibilities. It doesn't mean the work is piling up and you're inundated. I don't feel that. I just feel like they're giving you more complex tasks to perform. And they're also, if in the past they have been kind of hovering over you, making sure you're doing such and such, well, or making sure you're doing it in the way that they want. Now they're kind of backing off and giving you your space so that you can make it your own, so that you can do whatever you feel is necessary as long as the work gets done. So I do see a great degree of trust between other people, and especially superiors, okay? Your reputation is really building in a very positive way. And then I also feel like just your professional life in general with the sun here. This is about warmth, abundance, recognition, getting a lot of positive attention, kind of like beaming with positive attention and attracting a lot of good things coming your way as it relates to the professional environment. So you have some wonderful things coming through. When I saw the snake coiling on itself, I was thinking about, making sure that you don't get in your own way, okay? And some of the key words that came out here was about risk aversion, okay? Not taking risk. I mentioned before, I feel that for many of you, the past 5 years have not been easy. It was not easy being a Capricorn. And I feel that, you know, you were like right on the, like 5 years ago, you were like subsisting, okay? Whatever you made, it goes towards bills. It went towards bills. And so you weren't in a position where you had money left over to invest, to buy yourself nice things, to buy nice things for the people that you love, and to take vacation, to, you know, get out of, you know, financial dire strait or financial hardships for some of you. But I feel like it wasn't exactly financial hardship. It was just that you had to be thrifty with money. And then I also feel that for many of you, there were there was a lot of work, a lot of responsibilities, and your time was also very limited. And so you're making money, but you might not be able to spend it. You might not have the time. You might have, for others of you, you might not have the resources. Financial circumstance where you're earning more, you're making more, you're able to plan, you're able to like save up and take that dream vacation for many of you. Being able to, you know, call in at a moment's notice and just be like, you know what, I don't feel like going to work today. I feel like taking a mental health day and going to the beach. I feel that you're giving yourself a lot more freedom to really live your life and also to enjoy it thoroughly, because at this point, you know what really matters to you. You know that mental health is important. You know that you can't work yourself to the ground. You know that being in an environment where you are well respected, where you are trusted, matters a lot more. Okay? So I feel that the energy is really easing up for you. And I also feel that you're no longer, you know, getting in your own way, no longer operating from that space of like lack, no longer letting fears hold you back, and no longer feeling either tied to or indebted to anybody, because you are coming into your own sense that, you know, I made it. I got myself here. It was my own skills and capabilities that got me here. Nobody, you know, so this is not coming through in a spirit of like um arrogance, okay? This is not what it's about. But I do sense that for many of you, you felt almost like indebted to a work situation. You know, it's like, oh, they hired me when none of the other places hired me. So I want to stay here. I want to be loyal to this company. I feel like they hired you because, you know, you did great on the job interview. They also like the way that you work. They like the way that you explain yourself. They like the way in which you behave, and they just like the person that you are. So they hired you for their own personal reasons, and a lot of it has to do with they believe in your competence. And so you're not indebted to anybody. So many of you might have felt indebted to a workplace, to a boss, to a supervisor, to a situation, and you might have, you know, turned down a lot of other really good offers just to remain loyal to this one organization, place, boss, supervisor, place. And I feel that that was, you know, one of the ways in which you might have gotten in your own way in the past. Okay. And then I also feel like there might have been a lot of opportunities to explore greener pastures that you passed down because, you know, you might have been afraid. So I do feel like in the past, and, you know, the two cards are coming out first, where there was a lot of lack of movement and a lot of hesitation from your end, a lot of looking on, looking at what other people are doing, but feeling like you are tied to this situation, to this place, to this thing, to this job, and wanting a lot more. Okay, so I feel that this is one of the instances in which, you know, you kept your life in suspension, not really making a move, waiting for things to happen to you rather than going out, manifesting, grabbing opportunities, and proactively really living your life and enjoying your life, and living your life almost as if I'm not indebted to anybody. You know, it's kind of like the affirmation that I work really hard. I deserve these things. It's okay for me to enjoy myself every once in a while. It's okay for me to say that I want to call out sick today. I don't feel like going to work, and not have to feel guilty and not have to fear like, oh no, am I going to lose my job? Where you know that you matter, and where you are fully capable and aware of what your skills are, and that you are almost like a, I want to say, indispensable asset. Okay, no one's getting rid of you because they understand you have some major skills, major skills. If you were not aware of this, Capricorn, in the past, you're being made aware of it right now. You have major skills. You can make magic happen. You're the person that they call judgment, contact, communication. You're the person that they call whenever things go awry. You're the kind of like the SWAT team, you know, like the first line of defense when something goes wrong, when they need specialists, when they need, you know, experts. You're kind of like the troubleshooter, the person that is the first line of defense because you have the skills. And so you're very indispensable here in this major environment. For some of you too, I feel like this could play out in the relationship sector, where somebody is being made aware of how special and unique you are. I mean, I feel like they felt it before, but they might have also felt that like, oh, I could find that elsewhere. You know, you're coming into your own. But the person that you're dealing with, I feel that they're made aware that they can't, you know, the quality of their life would dramatically diminish as a result of you not being there. Okay? I hope that makes sense. I'm getting the energies of somebody around you who is trying to make some type of a major move. Okay? I feel like they're either making some type of a living arrangement change or some type of a major move in their career, and they're holding everything very tightly to their chest. Okay? I have here the Seven of Swords. Okay, so this is like doing something in the darkness of the night, not wanting to reveal things, keeping everything kind of like under wraps. Okay, literally under wraps, keeping communications very hush hush, keeping our plans to ourselves, not showing other people our cards. I feel like you have somebody in your midst who is doing this, and they're soon going to be reaching out to you and revealing everything that they have planned. And I feel for some of you, this might be a relationship partner. This might be a partner in a firm. This might be like somebody that you're very close to in the work environment. And I do feel like they've got some, I'm sensing that, you know, they've got something in mind and they want to propose it to you. So for example, if somebody is, you know, thinking about, like, if they've been talking about starting their own company, I feel like they want you on board uh, to share that venture with them. They might have a position in mind for you to slide into. They might have a proposal in mind for you to look through. They might have a position lined up for you or on the offing for you. And then I also feel for many of you, you have some major plans with a significant other, and many of you are keeping things under wraps. You don't want to tell your family members. You don't want to tell your friends. Maybe your family members have been, you know, constantly doubting you, or, you know, they were like naysayers. They were also very risk averse, and they are just like, oh, that's never going to work. That's too risky. You don't want to do that. You know, scrap those plans. And honestly, it's just not their place, okay? And I feel like they mean well. It's not like they're there to tear apart your plans or your dreams and your ideals. I feel that they lack imagination, and whatever appears really out of the box or very out of the norm for them scares them. So they're speaking to you and giving you advice from a place of, you know, protectionism, from a place of like risk aversion, from a place of, just lacking imagination and not being able to understand how you can pull things off. So I feel like they might not be the appropriate people to ask advice. And I do sense there's a lot of things here that indicates to me that they're giving you advice unsolicited. Either way, okay? So it's not like they're doing it out of ill will. I just feel like they don't like people to rock the boat. They don't want you to think outside the box. And I feel there's a lot of energies here about you thinking outside the box, creative problem solving, planning really, really far ahead, and getting yourself out of situations, and especially not getting in your own way when you want things to happen for you. Okay? What we have next here is the Wheel of Fortune, and this is like the best card in the deck. Okay? It basically signals to me that the time is here, the time is now for the Wheel of Fortune to be turning in. I feel like it's sort of like so let's look at, I'm getting that image of like cogs in a machine. Okay, all the pieces have to be in place and all the cogs start turning, and then the big machine turns. I feel like for the past few months, there has been a wrench in the works, okay? So just imagine a wrench thrown in and wedging in between those two cogs, okay? A big cog and a small one. It's wedged in, and none of them are able to budge. So it seems as if for the past few months, you were trying to push to get things in motion. And I feel like this is in your professional life. And then I also feel like in your personal life, moving, getting, like sending out resumes and things like that, sending out pieces of yourself and waiting for a response, waiting for feedback, waiting for something to come back in, something concrete and something solid. So there's a lot of waiting that I'm seeing here for the past few months. And it just feels like there was a wrench in the works. It jammed up the cogs, it jammed up the machine, and nothing is really moving. Things were just kind of like buzzing but not really moving. The gears are grinding and it was uncomfortable, and there was like screeching, and it was just like a state of limbo, and it wasn't comfortable. It will clear up that log jam. It will, kind of like remove the wrench in the works. It will get all the gears turning in the right motion so that the big engine can start producing, so that I just feel like, so that the whole machinery, all the moving parts can move forward. That's what it feels like to me. So something big is finally being delivered. And I feel for many of you, you're getting some positive, good news here with the Judgment card. News, communication that you have been waiting on. And I feel like the timing is very rushed, okay? So here's another thing that I want you to be cognizant about. Whenever we are divinely guided to do something, okay, all we have to do is put one foot in front of the other, do the first thing that we're expected to do. It's kind of like a snowball effect. We start to move things along, and then things kind of like take on a life of their own, and then everything, events, timelines, accelerate, and everything happens very, very quickly. That's when you know you're on the right path, because I feel like you're getting news, communication, information, and like resolutions and decisions coming in really, 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 really fast. And you're just like, I'm not really sure if I'm ready. Okay? I'm not really sure if I want to do it now. And I feel like the universe is telling you the time is now. You've wanted this for so long. You did your part, and now we're doing ours. And because of that, your timeline is being, I feel like you're being propelled into a timeline where things happen really fast. Okay? And so I feel that there might be a phone call, there might be an email, there might be like some type of communication, even snail mail, some type of contact here that sets things into motion. And I feel that you're doing this under the radar, you're doing this behind the scenes, and you're doing this without drawing attention to yourself. And you're trying to do this in a very stealthy manner so that other people are not aware of what you're doing. And then I also feel there is a person in your life that you're going to run some ideas by. Okay, this is someone who is very intelligent. They show up here as the King of Swords, and the King of Swords is somebody who is they give really great legal advice. They give really great advice in general. They see things in a very binary way. They're incredibly intelligent. They know how to troubleshoot. Whenever you have problems, they're your person. They're your go-to troubleshooter. I feel that this person is coming into the picture and they're showing you a way out of a situation. It's like how to gracefully exit a situation without, by leaving things intact. So I do feel there's a person here that you greatly admire for their intelligence, and you're going to be conversing back and forth a lot with them. Conversations are very hush hush, under the radar. It's almost as if you don't want people to know your plans, but you're confiding in this person so they are aware of your plans, and they're giving you advice and feedback as to when the best time to do something. Um, so I have heavy air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. I also have earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Somebody, it's like a dynamic duel. The two of you, you spark off each other like ideas and things like that in a very productive way. So, for example, they might be the ideas person, and you're the one that builds on their ideas. And then for others of you, I feel like you might be the ideas person. And this is strange, but Capricorns are very down to earth. But I feel like for many of you, you might be a little bit more on the Aquarian side, like late degree Capricorns. Or if you're born in like, you might not be as, you might get really burnt out. You might get discouraged easily when you're trying to build on your ideas. So this person is helping you build your ideas, helping you envision it, and they're trying to help you. It's like the two of you, one person is very practical and very like hands-on oriented, and the other person has like grand vision, and together the two of you complement each other incredibly well, and you can build on things and make things very stable, very sturdy, and can last a lifetime. Okay. I'm also feeling as well for those who are in a relationship, new relationship, especially with an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, you might not have known how they felt about you. You might have also wondered, are they seeing other people? Are they lying to me? Are they, like exclusive with me? Where they're really going to soothe away all of the suspicions or all the anxieties and all the doubts that you've had regarding the relationship with them. So the energy is very beautiful for a lot of like coming together, a lot of trust, and especially if you are dealing with somebody that you feel like you're not really sure if they're in it to win it with you or if they're in it for keeps with you. There will be a lot of opportunities. I'm seeing here socializing. This is a professional card, okay? And the moon, we have the sun and the moon. Socializing with people that you work with, okay? Finding out a lot of information and details about people that you work with. Some of it might be very pleasant. Some of it might be like, oh, I wish I hadn't known that, okay? Office politics, maneuvering the environment where we might not know something, but we have to learn how to bluff, okay? Where we're giving somebody in a work environment our word, and it's like, I give you my word that I'm going to get something done in a specified amount of time. And on the inside, you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it done. And I feel like, you're blurting out the promise anyways. And I feel that things are going to be okay because, they would not have given you that opportunity or that task, or depend on you to finish something at a specified time, unless they trust you. So I do send advice for you here is don't get in your own way. Okay, don't let self-doubt sabotage your plans. Okay, don't let the your fear of risk taking make you miss out on good opportunities when they come in. Okay, and especially don't let people around you cloud your judgment and tell you what you should or should not do, because their advice, as much as as well-meaning as they are, their advice might not be appropriate for what you're dealing with right now. You have shown yourself to be really hardworking, to be very intelligent, to be very capable. And the past 2.5 years were difficult, and I feel that now you have a better sense of direction. You needed to go through it to learn a lot about yourself, to learn about your limits, to learn about your capabilities. I keep seeing many of you, it's like, oh, I can pull out an all-nighter to finish that task. Or, yeah, I can, forgo sleep for like 3 days to get a project done. And I feel like Saturn did some major reality check for you, where you realize that physically you need to take better care of yourself. And you also felt like you felt like it's okay for me to be self-indulgent, to get some more sleep because my mind is sharper. You're realizing the formula that really works for you. And you're realizing that there's a lot of things that you never thought you needed, such as, getting the extra few hours of sleep, taking naps, so that your batteries can recharge, so that in your naps, in your dream state, you can problem solve. And I also feel like, feel rejuvenated, so you can look at something that was difficult or problematic with a new set of eyes, so that you can arrive at better solutions for solving them. Okay? So there were things that you thought you didn't need, and now, coming out of the Saturn transit, you're realizing how beneficial they are for you. And there might have been a lot of like, self-limiting talks, things that you tell yourself that were not true. I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not capable enough. I'm not bold enough. All of these things I feel like